Hello and happy Sunday, February 20-something. It is me, Joey Richter from StarKid and the Tin Can Bros. Hello. And I'm doing a little Instagram takeover today on the Broadway for Me account with Lauren Lopez. You know her, you love her, to celebrate the Tinlightenment World Tour Kickstarter campaign, which is a little, Kickstarter that is funding 7 events for the Tin Can Bros 10-year anniversary. You know the Tin Can Bros. We did Spies of Forever. We did Solve It Squad. And the last time we did a takeover on this account is when we brought Solve It Squad off Broadway in 2018. But today, we're doing a little live stream with the Solve It Squad cast. It's going to be a really fun little reunion with everyone. I am up early because I had to take little baby Diane to go get her rabies vaccine and get some breakfast. And, we had no hot water this morning, so I didn't shower. And I'm recovering from a cold. So we're going to have a hell of a day, y'all. Let's do it. Okay, update. The hot water worked. So we took a shower. We're clean. Still a little nasally. If you're like, I don't remember this voice of his being this like... but we're getting ready. We got our Solve It Squad sweater on, and we're going to go live very soon. Tune in to see what my setup is like. Ooh, my live stream setup. Oh my gosh, we're live. There's me doing this story in the middle of this live stream. There's everyone else. There's all the comments. This is very cool. I'm not on Grindr. I'm doing an Instagram story, Noah. And then here's some stuff. And look at this. This is like the number we're at. You can't hear anything that's happening because I am, I got my headphones in. Okay, here we go. They're talking about me on this. They're saying that I'm double booked, but I'm not. I'm just doing this. Okay. Hi, bye. I'll be telling you all about these projects soon. She's here. And if you can't see her, it's because she made me put a sticker over her face. Lauren, do you want anything to say to the Broadway for Me folks watching Instagram Live?
Hello, Queens.
Hey, y'all. Not sure if you saw on the stream, but Klubert here made a little appearance and was doing some shout-outs because... if you up your pledge by $10, if you're already a backer, or if you become a new backer, you get some shout-outs. And today, because it's the Solve It Squad themed stream, Klubert is the one giving the shout-outs. Isn't that right, bud?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, a lot of people thought I died in the show, but I didn't. I'm an actor, and I'm just happy to be here and support my friends, and hopefully make it to Edinburgh, so I can be a part of the show. So, yeah, I'll shout your name out. I don't really give a crap.
Oh, that's great. Kluber, that's really great. Thank you so much. And what are you most excited about the show?
Oh, about just like my easy track and cashing that check for doing the show. That'll be the most fun for me.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here. Okay, I'm ready to do some shout-outs. They haven't invited me on this stream yet, but if you're going to up your pledge by $10 or become a new backer, now's the time.
Okay, Klubert, that's cool. Okay, and now we're screening a number that we did at Buffer Festival in Toronto this past fall. This is a musical number that only existed in a live award show that we did. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. And look at that guy watching that guy. And look at these guys watching these guys. Unbelievable. Oh, wow. That's a little teaser for that song.
No more. No, you don't get it again. Sorry. No, stop.
You can play it again.
Oh, well, I can't. It's already going.
And this was our final prayer. We built this together with one word. Ain't that something? Okay, we are listening to it again.
It's such an earworm. I know. You
Okay.
got another bonus one for free.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and you can't get the whole thing, actually. You need to wait until it's available, okay? Hey everybody, Joey again, dropping in for the kind of final installment of this Tin Can Bros Broadway for Me takeover. So, as you can probably tell, producing independent theater at this scale that we're trying to do it with all these events internationally as a company that is pretty much just a 3-man operation, is a lot. It takes a lot of hustle. It takes a lot of scrappy kind of can-do antics, and this Kickstarter is very emblematic of that. It's kind of a culmination of 10 years of what the Tin Can Brothers have built, and we're still going about it in a scrappy way. So if you've tuned into the live stream today or become a new backer or still kind of Kickstarter curious, I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of answer any questions you might have about producing theater independently and what we do and what goes into it and what might kind of interest you about Tin Can Bros. Okay, great question and multifaceted based on the fact that we do independent theater. One, we like casting people who are our friends, who we trust, who we've worked with before, because time is money and money is time and there's not a lot of it, so we want to work with people that we know can pull off the things who are so good. Two, we work in so many different facets of like theater and the internet and comedy and all these places that, depending on the project, we always want to bring people in for new slots that we might have. Like the Great Debate is a great opportunity for us to work with people in Dropout and Smosh that we've never worked with before. Spy Another Day, the live concert screening, was another great opportunity because we broke up those tracks from Spies Are Forever for the 54 Below concerts we did last year to bring in other sort of musical theater performers and people we know who would fill in great for that. And third, just like working with a ton of independent artists and friends is great because with the strikes and the industry, it's like jobs are so few and far between that you just want to be able to work with people who are great. And another thing I wanted to touch on about this question too, there are also projects that we've done like this, could be on Broadway or the Brooklyn Nine-Nine activation we did at Comic-Con, in which we wanted to cast a wider net because there are so many other performers in Los Angeles and beyond that we wouldn't have been able to see. So I think also putting out casting notices on casting websites is another great opportunity to fill in places where we can work with a new person, which is also super important to us. But I think Tin Can Bros has always been a company in which we have people we love working with, we want to keep working with, but also want to find spots in almost every project in which we could continue to expand that circle because there's just so many great people out there who we want to work with. This also kind of touches on the casting question a little bit, but writing with people in mind it kind of depends on the project. Spies Are Forever, I think, was a project we had wanted to kind of cast and put people in. I mean, obviously we wrote it with people in mind. We named the guy Kurt Mega, but Solve It Squad was a show that I think we had a general idea of who could be in it, but you're writing with very specific archetypes for who the characters are. Wayward Guide, that series we wrote, was a show we had written with people in mind because I think we had kind of cast it based on an outline and a series of characters and then kind of wrote the script out of that. Casting with people in mind is always super helpful just because you know who's going to be doing it, so it kind of helps to be able to say the words as the people. And casting for yourself is also really easy because as you're writing it, I'm saying lines out over and over and over again and I go, great, I'll be the one saying this. That is helpful. Ooh, very good question. Might have to be a question that I answer over multiple slides because it's complex. But a kind of overarching thought I have about this is that you shouldn't be making things creatively, if you are creative, that are fueled entirely by what will go viral, what will be huge. I think that's a creative killer and a way to ultimately be doing something that you don't enjoy. That being said, when you run a business or when you're crowdfunding for something and you're putting a lot of money and time into something, especially as we get older and we're in our 30s and we're building careers, you have to be more thoughtful with what you're doing. We're not just doing whatever scratches an itch, or we're not following every whim and fancy because it's just there's no time or money for those types of things. So we kind of follow a certain set of criteria, which I'll elaborate on. Okay, part 2 of this question, because like I said, it's very multifaceted. Number 1, I don't think we would creatively do anything ever that would alienate our fan base. We're not going to chase a whim and fancy that will go everyone will hate this. So I do think that creatively, the people in our fan base and our community who have followed us and joined us and been fans of us over the last 10 years, that we share a certain sense of creative taste. So that's good. We're very lucky that that's the case, because we can pursue things that we think this will resonate with our audience. But I also think, like, there's a financial element to it, you know? Like, we're not going to make something that is everything we want it to be and then go like, shit, we financially can't pull that off. So oftentimes we'll budget things and then creatively figure out how to, like, back into that budget. So continuing this question, and then knowing that we've kind of created an idea that can work within the budgetary confines of what we've set for ourselves, hopefully that can create a process that creatively is fun for us, fun for our performers, and isn't something that is like too big for us to grasp, and that we lose our kind of creative control over it. Ideally, that's what we try to do. But then in terms of creating something that could get traction, I think a different way to look at it is, like, luckily we are people that are very genre interested. We love genre. We have a history in parody and kind of like doing a different spin on something already established, an entry point that people already are aware of. You look at something like Solve It Squad, which is like a Scooby-Doo comp, but like fucked up. And I think, like, that is a different way to look at traction, is more of like, what is something that is familiar that we can put our own twist on? And I think that is creatively fulfilling for us, which is great. Now, this question was pretty much what I was getting at in the previous question, but it was worded more succinctly. Essentially, being an independent artist is finding that balance with artistic vision and financial constraints. And luckily, in our 10 years at Tin Can Bros, we have found ways to stretch a dollar. We have found ways to get really crafty and really sneaky with the way we do things so that it always seems more expensive than it is, while simultaneously, as we get older, creating situations in which we, as the people creating it, and the performers and the other artisans and artists we employ to be a part of our shows, are paid fairly, that this is a career, you know, treating it as such. You know, there's no heroics in being like, I'm doing it for the art at this point. It's like wanting to create environments in which people are treated fairly and are paid fairly. So let's look at this with some specific examples. First, you have How the Grunge Crib Christmas, which was our holiday Christmas musical mystery Solve It Squad show that we did a couple years ago. When we did a Kickstarter for that, you set a Kickstarter budget as such that you just craft the show to meet that budget. You go, this is going to be an hour show. There's only going to be 7 or 8 songs. We're going to only cast 2 additional people in addition to the original Solve It Squad. And you make the creative meet that budget. Or you take something like the Solve It Squad Back in Biz readings, which were Zoom readings. We knew budgetarily they didn't have to go too far. We weren't spending a lot of money on things, but creatively we can write 4 scripts that were for animated Solve It Squad episodes that could go, you know, the sky's the limit for what we could do. But that's what you're kind of balancing with every project, financially versus creatively. Do we end up paying theaters? We sure do. Theater rentals are often, it kind of depends on what the event is that you're trying to put up somewhere, but usually you're renting it for a period of like a week because you want to have times to do tech and load in, especially if you're doing like a full production there. But there are other theaters, like for one of these events we're doing, The Great Debate, which is like more of a live comedy game show event, that we're booking spots more in like a less of a rental thing and more of a booking deal, where you're just kind of like, they have slots and there might be more of like a box office split rather than you just paying them a bunch of money up front. But it takes a lot of just like emailing and finding contacts and just a lot of cold calling pending on the space and then matching up calendars. It's a lot. And that question kind of curtails into this question. So how do you book spaces for shows and set dates when you're still funding? That is kind of the big gamble of what we're doing and what you often have to do as independent artists. So as we're still funding for this whole season of events and planning for things, we because of how far out things book, you do have to start setting dates and putting deposits down and renting spaces. We've already been doing it for the Spy Another Day live concert screening. that's happening in April in Los Angeles, for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in August. We're already talking with producers and have partners set up and venues and spaces. But if we don't make this goal, Tinlightenment World Tour, link right here, we won't be able to travel and do any of these things, and thus these deposits we've put down will just kind of be lost. But that is the gamble of what we're doing. So, important to get this thing funded. Now, my kind of simple answer to this question is, why can't you like having both? You know? Obviously, the supporters we have as Tin Cam Bros and Starkid and everything is as big as they seem and feel. They're niche still compared to the larger theatrical world and entertainment industry. And it has been so amazing to have so many people supporting what we do and allow us to keep making things. It's an incredible thing. But at the same time, I think we feel that the work we're doing is something that can still reach more people. We want more people to like it, because obviously the more people that are watching your things and enjoying them and supporting them, the easier it becomes to be able to keep doing them. So it's having both. I also think if we continue to grow in our audience, we aren't going to lose that core group of people who have supported us and that relationship we have. This is the kind of question in which most independent artists have had to ask themselves at a certain point. And I think the thing to remember is this industry, this entertainment industry, there's so many people controlling what you're doing and saying, yes, you can do that, or no, you can't do that. And all you kind of want to do is just make art and be creative. And so starting this company, starting Tin Cam Bros, allowed us to have that agency and that control that we couldn't have. And obviously it's come with a lot of hardships, it's come with a lot of obstacles, and you're fighting up against kind of like this wall sometimes to break through and continue to have that control. But I think in the University of Michigan, when we did Basement Arts and Starkid, we were kind of fostered within us this idea early on at a very important age that like creating things, especially when YouTube was coming up, that creating your own stuff was the most important. And so I think it was just something that was kind of bred within us during our formative years. Hi, sorry, I had to go eat the beautiful dinner that Lauren made. That was salmon and roast potatoes and, what did we have as a vegetable? Green beans. It was delicious. She made a tartar sauce. But now I'm going to do some rapid fire questions, and then I'm going to call it for the night because it's been a long day. And we got 6 more days of this campaign left. But this question, what is it like starting your own company? You guys are such an inspiration. Thank you so much. I mean, when we started it initially, it was more of just like a creative group and a creative outlet, and that was like really wonderful and freeing. And as we started the company parts of it more thoroughly, there's growing pains. We're still figuring it out. I think it's still a difficult thing being a 3-man operation, pretty much. That is still something we need to figure out. But it is very empowering, but it is also very difficult. Okay, this is an easy one. This is part of our lore, our classic Tin Cam Bros lore. But the name came from when Corey moved to Los Angeles from Chicago. He moved into an apartment that was essentially across the courtyard and up the stairs. It was like a diagonal from where me and Brian lived. So we joked that we could use a tin can to communicate between the apartments, and that's where the name came from. Cute, right? Okay, this is interesting because I'm not sure what is meant to imply by important being in quotes, but I will say I think the most important, in a sense of the most impactful difference between indie and mainstream theater is the money. It's the resources that come with it, because I think in general, creative people are creative people, and people are trying to make the most creative choices involved in what they're doing, hopefully. But I think how much money is being put into or not put into a type of theater, mainstream versus indie in this specific example, determines kind of like how those creative choices get made, what kind of creative choices get made, and how you're able to how important creativity is in the process. Because, people either need to make that money back or have too much money to spend or have not a lot of money to work with. Ooh, this is really fun. This has been something we've started to implement in the last year and a half. Brian Rosenthal has done a lot of the legwork into streamlining this as a part of our process. So I'm going to tag Brian, but granted, he has only used Instagram once to post a thirst trap from this Kickstarter campaign, so I could let him elaborate. But I can also just link you to the link on our website, which I will. I'll put a button, say, right here, that tells you, like, how to license. But basically, we have a process where you'll fill out an application form, and there'll be an application fee, but you can take a look at what we are providing for licensing both Spies Are Forever and Solve It Squad. We also provide a list of changes you might want to make for schools or different productions and suggestions. But it's usually a pretty streamlined, wonderful experience. Wouldn't you say, Brian? The simple answer to this is yes. Very much so. I've spent a lot of time this month over the course of this campaign doubting myself, questioning and second-guessing decisions we've made, but I think the thing about Tin Can Bros that I am proud of is that we are constantly growing and changing and evolving and questioning decisions we've made and trying to make good decisions moving forward. So, despite how many curveballs we've been thrown during this campaign trying to get the funding going, I feel confident that moving forward with this whole season, that we will attack it in a way that is like efficient, strong, will be not wasting anyone's time, will be trying to make the best process for everyone, because that is how we will make good work. So it is scary, but you try to change that scariness and turn it into something better. This changes based on any given project. It's different. Sometimes when we're in like go mode of a project, it's like kind of like pretty much all day, every day, especially leading up to like live shows, like the week before usually. But like with this season that we're planning, it's better to look at it as like weekly. And I think there will be a lot of weeks of this where we're operating as like a full-time job, 40 hours a week. There are some weeks where it may just tend to be like 20 hours a week, depending on the person, what other people are involved in, what other people have outside of Tin Can Bros. But sometimes it's like a full-time job, and at the same time, we're not getting paid what a lot of people would a salary for a full year for a full-time job. So, we figure it out. I think what makes working on an independent project worth it is just on a creative level, the ability to like have creative control as to of what you're doing and being able to fully realize something from start to finish and not have other people get in the way. I think that's one of the things that's worth it. I think another thing that is worth it in a creative project, what makes it worth it, especially for me, is knowing and being in a position of power or authority of those projects, is knowing and hopefully striving for and achieving creating a good environment for the people around you, both the cast and the crew, and hopefully us. Usually for us, we are the lowest on the totem pole of like having a good time because we're thinking about a lot of things, but ideally it's all of those, and just creating a good experience that people can like feel safe in and have fun. Similar to cast, I think a lot of people we operate in terms of crew are people we've worked with before. A lot of like our Justin and Benji, frequent DP collaborators we've worked with, also have a series of people that they work with for gaff and lighting and camera op crew. Same with sound and all sorts of things, makeup. It's very referral based. Because, we work on different projects and different things. So when you find someone who you love and respect and enjoy their work, I think you want to go oh, please, can we work with you on everything? And it's a very similar feeling with casting, but I think especially, again, because of the time and money thing, you want to work with people that you trust, that can help you execute this vision in a safe, good way, under budget. Well, I got nothing else to really say about this, other than I think you're pretty much right. But seriously, though, I love Spies Are Forever, and a lot of the stuff we're trying to do this year with Spies Are Forever, and in the last few years with 54 Below, has been really wanting to honor the fact that show there's a real lightning in a bottle situation with that show, and wanting to really, I know people are like, where's the next one? Where's the sequel? And it's like, I think there's a lot more to do with the first one that we owe it to that show and Clark and Pierce and the people involved who helped create it to like continue to explore that we probably should. So, rock and roll. I mean, in terms of get started, I think it all kind of started at college, with everything we just kind of were put in a situation with Basement Arts and everything where it was like generating our own things, writing our own things, putting up our own shows, and that kind of instilled in us an idea to make our own things. And then when we entered the kind of world, both in doing StarKid stuff and beyond, it was kind of like, how do we then just kind of generate our own things? YouTube was coming up, so it was like, make your own things, put them on there. So Tin Can Bros was 100% bred out of those things from college. And in terms of getting foot in the door, I mean, I will say one thing is like, it's all people it's all like, I hate to say networking is so dumb, but it is like just about developing relationships, cultivating relationships over time, and we are still trying to get our foot in the door in a bigger sense for the major part of the industry. But like, going to Michigan was a huge part of that. Okay, this is going to be the last one I answer for the night. There's not really a favorite thing that I have that we've done, because we have like tapped into doing so many different things in different avenues. But I do feel like Spies of Forever and Solve It Squad, and I know they're like our two most popular properties, but it's like, I do think there is something like truly special, maybe because one's a musical and one's a play. But those are like I feel very near and dear to those, and like very, not even protective of them, but like I want nothing but the best for them. And I feel that with any of our things also. It's like there's so much about the future of Wayward Guy that I get really excited about, or this could be on Broadway that I get really excited about. But maybe because we've done so many things and now we're revisiting so many things in the past, that like the idea of like remounting Spies again, remounting Solve It Squad again is just like so exciting to me, and it shows how much they mean to me. All right, y'all, I'm wrapping up for the night. Thank you so much to the Broadway For Me account for letting me do this little takeover and connect with so many of you on this little platform. I'm sorry that Lauren wasn't more involved throughout the day. She has been really fighting a really bad cold all weekend, and we got a big couple weeks ahead of us, so we're trying our best to get better. But I hope that all the things I talked about and the things we got to show you from this process for this Tin Lightman Kickstarter were inspiring to you. I hope that it inspired many of you to continue to pursue your dreams in independent theater, and that maybe it inspired some of you to go out and support Tin Can Bros in our effort to fund this season of events for the Tin Lightman World Tour. So hopefully we can bring some of these things to you all around the world. I will leave you one more slide with a little reel from the song that ended our Kickstarter campaign, if you needed any more reason. But get out there, get Tin Lightened. We got 6 more days, and let's rock this thing strong. Bye!